Hi everyone, I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but today we're going to be going over parallel lines and transversals, or starting that process. By the way, your quiz grades should be in the computer hopefully by now. If not, they will be by the end of the day. Okay, key concepts. Parallel lines are two coplanar lines. Coplanar just means on the same plane, so like written on the paper. That's what coplanar means. They're on the same paper that do not intersect. Now, I'm hoping everybody goes, yeah, I got that. I know that. That's nothing new for me. All right, let's look at the notation though. You see how the arrows in each end of this picture, those mean it's a line, but then there's a second set of arrows that are both going the same way. That means that those two lines are parallel to each other. So those arrowheads that are going in the same direction mean that those are parallel. Let's look over at the notation. This is line JK, and that means parallel to LM. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, let's talk about our skewed lines. So just to remind you, skewed lines do not intersect. They're lines that do not intersect and are not on the same plane. So remember when you were doing that cube on your quiz, remember you had to pick two lines that weren't ever going to touch and they weren't parallel. So lines L and M are skewed, so notice they've drawn them on two different planes. The planes are parallel, but those planes are not going to intersect. So we know that those lines cannot intersect each other, and they've intentionally drawn them at weird angles on purpose. All right, let's slide on down and let's talk about angle relationships. So you have a lot of angle relationships that you need to get familiar with by name. And the reason for that is because I'm going to have different relationships, and I'm going to say to you, identify alternate interior angles, identify alternate exterior, corresponding, consecutive, exterior, interior. So all of those things you're going to be responsible for. So let's take a look at our picture. Now, first of all, we have drawn lines Q and R intentionally, so they are not parallel lines. That's tomorrow. What you need to keep in mind is there is an exterior to the lines, so that's outside, and then the interior is between the two lines. So first thing is name 4 interior angles. So angle 4 is between the two lines. Angle 3 is between the two lines. Angle 5 and angle 6. Notice they've got that angle notation out front. Now name 4 exterior angles. So 1 and 2 are outside the two lines. 8 and 7 are outside the two lines. Now let's talk about consecutive interior. So consecutive means in a row. So you'll go to one side of what's called the transversal, T for transversal. 5 and 4, these two are on the same side of the transversal, so they're called consecutive, and they're both between the lines, so consecutive interior. On the other side of the transversal, we have 3 and 6. Both of those are in between the two lines, but on the same side. So with consecutive, you need to think about same side of the transversal. See, it says same side of transversal T. That's what consecutive means. Now let's talk about alternate. Alternate clearly means alternate sides of the transversal. So 4 and 6 are alternate interior angles, and 3 and 5 are alternate interior angles. So they're on opposite sides of the transversal, but they're inside. Now we also have alternate exterior. So here's exterior angles that are alternate sides of the transversal. 1 and 7, 2 and 8. And then finally we have corresponding angles. These are on the same side of the transversal and on the same side of Q and R. So top side, top side. Top side, top side. Bottom side, bottom side. Bottom side, bottom side. Now, I hate to say it this way, but you're really going to have to memorize these relationships because you are expected to know them throughout this unit. So make sure you work really hard on getting these memorized. So let's talk about your pairs of angles. So again, if you need to, you can look up above. All right, so we have two lines, and this is your transversal. Okay, so that's a transversal. How do I know it's a transversal? Because it is crossing the two lines. Now, I like to kind of turn them this way when I'm looking at them. So that's the way I like to look at them. So first, let's start with corresponding. Corresponding means they're on the same side of the transversal in the same position. So that would be 2 and 6, 4 and 8, 1 and 5, and 3 and 7. So they're both on the top side or the bottom side of their line. So let's list some pairs. So I've got angle 2 and angle 6. I've got angle 4 and angle 8. I've got angle 1 and angle 5. And I have angle 3 and angle 7. Again, if you turn it this way so the transversal's up and down, I think it's a little easier to see the positions. All right, next we have alternate interior angles. So that means that our angles have to be inside these two lines. So 3 and 6, 4 and 5. So let's write those down. Angle 3 and angle 6, angle 4, and angle 5. So that's alternate interior. Let's do alternate exterior. So again, I like to turn my picture sideways. So these are exterior to my two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So 1 and 8, 2 and 7. All right, now we're getting down to the end here. We've got consecutive interior, okay? So consecutive interior. Again, I like to rotate. It's got to be between the lines, so I have two options. I can do pair 4 and 6 or 3 and 5. Okay, our last one here said same side exterior, okay? So I've got choices of 2 and 8 and 1 and 7. The more of these you practice with, the better you're going to get at them. So let's flip to the next page. Got a little bit more notes for today. Okay, so it says, answer the following questions based on the picture to the right. All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. Kathy's coffee corresponds. So let's take a look back and see what a corresponding angle is, because we might not remember. Corresponding angles lie on the same side of the transversal and on the same side of Q and R. Okay, so ones that correspond. Kathy's coffee and Connie's coffee. Ooh, they're both above their lines and they're both on the left-hand side. So let's correspond. Now I can't really see a number in there, so I'm just going to write Connie's. Okay, let's talk about Isabel's ice cream. This is alternate interior. Okay, so here's our two lines going across. There's our transversal. Has to be alternate interior. So I could say Isabel's ice cream goes with Bob's Burgers or Connie's coffee goes with Darren, but they want the alternate for Isabel. So that'd be Bob's. Okay, now Beverly's Burger. Okay, so I got to find Beverly's Burger. There it is. And it's supposed to be consecutive exterior. So again, here's my two lines going across. Consecutive exterior. So it's got to be outside the lines and on the same side to be consecutive. So again, let's kind of look back over at our problem if we're not totally sure. Consecutive exterior, consecutive interior are those two and those two. So consecutive exterior would be 2 and 7 and 1 and 8. So Beverly's Burger, that's on the top side of the line. Bob's, oh yeah, is on the top side also. So that's Bob's. Okay, Dottie's Donuts, alternate exterior. Okay, so here's our two lines. There's our transversal T. So we want alternate exterior, so that'd be Kathy and Dottie. And then finally we got Darren's Donuts. It's supposed to be same side, so let's find Darren. Here he is, so same side. And it's got to be interior, so that's got to be Bob's Burgers. Wow, we went to Bob's a lot. Okay, so we got one last problem to do. First of all, figure out which of these lines is the transversal. That's your transversal. So again, you may find it helpful to rotate your picture. I always like to have the transversal going up and down. That just helps me. All right, so the first ones that I have to find are 8 and 12. Okay, so 8 and 12, those look like corresponding angles, but let's just confirm if we're not 100% sure. Because corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal and the same side of the line. So if I look at those two, 8 and 12 are corresponding. Remember, you can stop the video at any time that you'd like. Okay, 9 and 14. Okay, they're alternate sides of the transversal and they're outside the two lines, so alternate exterior. Notice I'm going to abbreviate alternate exterior because I don't want to write the whole word down. All right, let's take a look at 10 and 12. So 10 and 12 are on the same side, so it's not alternate interior. Okay, because that would be like on opposite sides. So let's go take a look and see what our options are. So remember, we wrote them all down here. So here's alternate on the same side. Those are called consecutive. See, consecutive, same side of the transversal. All right, so consecutive. And they're inside the line, so consecutive interior. All right, let's take a look at 11 and 12. So those are alternate sides of the transversal, and they're in between the lines, so they're alternate interior. Okay, we're almost done. We're coming down to the end here. 8 and 15. Okay, so those are alternate sides of the transversal, and they're exterior to the two lines, so alternate exterior. All right, we're down to our last two. We have 10 and 14. Okay, so again, I like to look at them this way. These are going to be some nice angles for us. Let's go take a look on the other side in case we've forgotten what they're called. So that would be like 4 and 8. So let's find that pair. Corresponding angles. Corresponding, because they have corresponding positions. I think I need another R in there. All right, our last one is 9 and 15. Okay, 9 and 15. So they are on the same side of the transversal. Okay, again, let's go take a look. So that would be like having 2 and 7. So let's go find 2 and 7. Where's 2 and 7? Where's 2 and 7? Those are, nope, they're not alternate. Where's 2 and 7? Let's find 2 and 7. Maybe they don't have a special name. I bet they do, though. Those are corresponding. You're right. Okay, so that's all done. We finished with this. Here is your homework for tonight. So tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but when I see you back in class, I'm going to check two things. First of all, did you complete your notes? Like, did you bother to watch the video and complete it? And then, did you do your homework? Now, this is all, and this is odd, and then 47. So, you know which problems to do. And I will see you all back after your long vacation.